All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going behind the scenes to look at how an answer actually gets built, especially when you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. We're going to look at the anatomy of an answer.
Okay, let's dive right in. You ask a question, you get a response. It feels so simple, right? Almost like magic. But what happens in that gap? That little moment between you asking and you getting a response? Well, that's where all the interesting stuff happens. It's full of logic and choices and sometimes a real head scratcher. So, to kick things off, let's start with what seems like a super simple task. We needed to create a how-to guide for this neat little app called AksharaChitra. And on the surface, the process looks pretty straightforward. You pick your language, English or Telugu, customize it with a date, a color, an image, you type in your text, format it, and boom, you generate an image you can download or share. Nothing complicated here, right? Well, that's where things get interesting.
Then a user comes along and asks for this one crucial detail to be added. They wanted to know how to use the app offline. A really practical question, right? Can I use this thing when I'm on the train or when my Wi-Fi is just awful? This one little question changed everything.
So we start digging to answer this question, which seems easy enough. But almost immediately, we hit a major roadblock. The one little piece of information we absolutely needed to confirm this feature, it just wasn't there. That's it, plain and simple. We searched for AksharaChitra and its offline capabilities and got nothing. Zero. There was no direct confirmation, no denial, just silence. So what do you do now?
Now, the search wasn't totally useless, but it was indirect. It gave us a ton of info about this thing called a progressive web app, or PWA for short. And yeah, PWAs are known for working offline, but, and this is the key part, not a single result actually mentioned the AksharaChitra app by name. So we had this big, general concept, but zero specific proof.
And this is where the real art of crafting an answer kicks in. It's what you might call a producer's dilemma. You've got the user's question over here and some related facts over there, but there's no bridge connecting them. So you have to make a call.
And this slide just lays out the two paths perfectly. Option 1, you can be totally 100% literal and, let's be honest, pretty unhelpful. Hey, sorry, can't confirm, end of story. Or there's option 2, you reframe the entire problem. This is about giving the user the knowledge they need to figure it out for themselves. It's a total shift from just answering to actually enabling.
So the decision was made to go with door number 2, to choose being useful over being strictly, technically literal. Because really, the goal isn't just to be correct, right? It's to provide real value and actually help the person who's asking. And here's a quote straight from the source that kind of locked in that strategy. And the key phrase, the most important part, is in a conditional way. It's all about giving them the info without making a claim you can't back up. It's a really subtle but super powerful distinction. Okay, so here's the new game plan. You start with the original how-to steps. Then you carefully add a sentence about PWA features, but as a possibility. You explain what offline use would even look like in this situation, and then you wrap it all up by emphasizing that awesome app-like experience that, let's face it, we all want. Right, so to even pull this off, you have to understand the key piece of tech that makes this whole helpful answer possible in the first place. So what exactly is a progressive web app? To put it simply, a PWA is basically a website that acts and feels just like a regular app on your phone. You don't have to go to the App Store. You can install it right from your web browser onto your home screen. It's really the best of both worlds. You get the ease of the web with the slick experience of a dedicated app. And these are its superpowers, really. You can pop it right on your home screen. It can work offline. That's the big one we've been talking about. It updates itself automatically. You don't even have to think about it. And you launch it from an icon, just like you would any other app. You see how all of this information speaks directly to that user's original question? And this brings us back to the most critical piece of the puzzle, honesty. The info was framed as a possibility. It basically says, hey, if this app is a PWA, then here are all the cool things you can do. This way, you stay accurate, but you still deliver that genuinely useful knowledge the person was actually hoping for. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. Why are we even walking through all this? Well, it's because the way an answer is built, it says a lot about what communication is really all about. At the end of the day, this whole thing wasn't just some technical problem about a single app. It was really a case study in empathy. It was about digging deeper to understand what the user really needed and then finding a creative and honest way to get them there, even when you don't have all the facts. It's all about the logic of helpfulness.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world that is just drowning in data, what do we actually value more? An answer that's technically correct but totally useless, or one that might be conditional but is genuinely, truly helpful? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.